Hello student. Now today we will start our second chapter of part 1 chapter 2, that is king, farmers and town. As we have already completed the first chapter of part 1, bricks, braids and bones, now we will start the second chapter. In the last chapter, what we have studied about the Harappan civilization and how does it came to an end. There we have said that Aryan invention was also the reason for its decline, as it may be that Aryan might have attacked the people of Indus Valley civilizations. Now we will study in this chapter that after the decline of Indus Valley civilization, that several development has taken place. So what was that development that has taken place? We will study in this chapter. First of all, the Aryan, they have migrated from Central Asia between 2000 BCE to 1500 BC, and they settled in many subcontinents, that is in eastern Afghanistan, modern Pakistan, Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh. And during this period, that is between 1900 BC to 600 BC, the most important thing that has taken place, that was composed of Rig Veda we have found, and that was been composed by the people who were living along the Indus rivers and its tributaries. Now, other thing, what was the development? This is the first development, that was the composed of the Rig Veda, and second development was in the field of agriculture settlement. We have seen that is agriculture settlement also emerged in the subcontinent, which include northern India, Deccan Plateau and some parts of Karnataka. As in the first century BC, many changes took place regarding the last rites of the dead in central and south India. Now, in this period, what changes has taken? The changes was that dead body were buried in the graves, and that graves used to be surrounded by a big stone, and at the top they used to make a tomb, and this is called megalithic. So this was the development that has taken place during that time period. Apart from that, many town cities has also been emerged. So now let us move on to this chapter in details. So now let us start our themes in Indian history part 1 chapter 2, and the topic of this chapter is king, farmers and town. In this chapter, we will discuss regarding earlier states and economics, that is from 600 BCE to 600 CE. So in this chapter, we will see that there were several changes in economic and political life between 600 BCE and 600 CE. The most important was the emergence of early states, empire and kingdom. Apart from that, there were other changes as well, as that is in the growth of agriculture production, emergence of new town was been seen and many more. So our first topic of this chapter is Princeps and Piyadasi. So Princeps, the full name of Princeps was James Princeps. In 1830 decades, he was an officer of East India Company, and during that time Brahmi and Kharosthi script was been found, and he was the one, that is James Princeps, he was the one, he deciphered Brahmi and Kharosthi script, which these two scripts were used to in the earlier time to be written in inscription and coin. Now this script were written in code word, that is Brahmi and Kharosthi script were written in earlier time in the code word, which was very difficult to understand. And he was the one, that is James Princeps, he was the one who had decoded it in simple language, that is he has decoded the script, that is Brahmi and Kharosthi script in simple language. Whatever was written in inscription and coin that were found during that time period, and due to him it became easier for us to read the script. And out there during that time, the one who was the king during that time period, their name was also found in coin. So, which was called Piyadasi. The king name, if it was been found in the coin, they were called as Piyadasi. So, by this word Piyadasi, it means kindness. In Hindi, we can call it Dayalu. So in some coin also we have seen that Ashoka name was written. In many coin Ashoka name was been written. That was also be found during that time period. As we all know that King Ashoka was very powerful, kind-hearted, and he was very humble king. So when James Prinsep came, he had given new direction to Indian history. That is, when he came to India, he had given a new direction to Indian history. Whereby how he has given new direction? When he had solved the two languages, that is Brahmi and Kharosthi script, by decoding the code of this script and converting it into the simple language. So next one is the early state, that is 6th century BCE was a turning point in early Indian history. Why this was a turning point in early Indian history? In the early state, or we can call it an era, used to associate with early states, cities, that is they used to have state and city during that time period, and they used iron on a huge scale. That means many things were made of iron during that time period. Coin was also been discovered or developed in different form. That means during that early state time, in the 6th century BC, what we have seen, the iron was been used in huge abundance, and second was that coin was been developed in different form. There, one more thing we can see, that there was a diverse system. It means that Buddhism and Jainism also had come during that time period. And apart from that, there was 16 powerful kingdom that was known as Mahajanapad also came to an existence during that time. When the 16 powerful kingdom, that is Mahajanapad, came into existence, out of the 16 Mahajanapad, that was Vaji, Magad, Koshal, Kuru, Panchal, Gandhar and Avanti. These were the most important. After this, also Magad was the most important and powerful out of the 16 Mahajanapad. Now, the 16 Mahajanapad, they are having major Mahajanapad, that is Vaji, Magad, Koshal, Kuru, Panchal, Gandhar, Avanti. From this, Magad was the most powerful, and this Mahajanapad, 16 Mahajanapad, has got some feature and administration system out there, that is ruled by the king, oligarchies, and this king, wherever they used to rule, they have a fortified capital city out there. Now, what was the feature of the 16 Mahajanapad? That most Mahajanapad were ruled by king and some were oligarchies. That is, what does it mean? Was been ruled by king and someone be ruled by oligarchy. It means a group of people have control on a country or organization. That means a group of people, that can be a gun. We can say gun. They are having a control in particular country or particular organization. They are controlling that and they are ruling that particular community. That was oligarchies. Now, there what we have seen, which were known as Gan, the one who are the oligarchies, they are the people controlling a particular country or organization. They were also known as Gan or Sanghas. What were they known as? Oligarchies, the one those are controlling Gan or Sanghas. They were being provided, this all the ruler were being provided power, whatever power they need to control their kingdom, they were being provided that power, and they were also called Raja. And each Mahajanapad has its own capital city. So each Mahajanapad, they are having their own capital city, and that capital city, which whatever they have formed of, was always very strong. And each Mahajanapad also had its own well maintained and disciplined army, and they are having an army system also that was well disciplined and well maintained. And even regular bureaucracies means that a system of government was there, that is a large number of officers was being appointed for a particular purpose. Means they will suppose for the army military section officers been appointed who will look out over the military system. In that way, bureaucracy for different administration was there, and that was being maintained in a proper way. And out here, the most important what we will see was that there were Dharma Sutra in this Mahajanapad. One of the most important feature of Mahajanapad, Dharma Sutra. So, which was written by this Dharma Sutra was to be written by Brahman, and out there some norms were written. In that Dharma Sutra, some norms were written. And what was that norms that were written? That norms was been written for the ruler accepted to be Kshatriya. That is, what was the norm was written in the Dharma Sutra? That it was written that the king or the ruler must belong from the Kshatriya. That means whoever will be the ruler appointed as a ruler or king, they must belong from the Kshatriya family. The ruler out here, the ruler used to collect tax and tributes from the cultivator, traders and artisan. They also used to invade in neighboring country. Now, they used to collect the taxes from the cultivator, trade and artisan. Apart from that, they used to, this king, whatever the king of this Mahajanapad, whoever was ruling, they used to attack or they used to invade its neighboring country. Why? The purpose was that for getting more wealth, so that they will get more wealth from that neighboring country, whoever were the powerful nearby that, and they will become more wealthier. So this is the features of the Mahajanapad, that is administrative system ruled by the king. And other one was the oligarchies, and the one they were also been provided the power, and they were also called as rajas. And the king, whoever were ruling a particular dynasty, they have been fortified with the capital city, and that was very strong. And they were also having a well-disciplined army system, and regular bureaucracy was also being appointed for the administrative purpose. And the king, whoever was ruling the particular dynasty, they must belong from the Kshatriya family, as it was mentioned in the Dharma Sutra written by the Brahmans. So next one is out of this Mahajanapad, the most powerful and strong was the Magad. So what was the factor responsible for the rise of Magad? What led the Magad to be more powerful? The factor that it led Magad to be more powerful was that Magad right now and presently it is in Bihar, and it was the most powerful among 16 Mahajanapad. Why? The reason was that Magad was surrounded by mountain on all sides, or we can say that it was Magad is at the center and all sides mountain was there, and due to which it provide security to Magad. Why? As because its enemy could not attack it, as Magad is at the center and surrounded by mountain all side. So this mountain are being part of its security, as because enemy could not attack direct Magad. So that was the plus point for the Magad to become more powerful. Secondly, and it was having iron mines. That means Magad was also having an iron mines. Out here you can see rich deposit of iron ore. That means it was having an iron mines where huge quantity of iron were obtained. That is from Magad. Source of iron was there, and was used, this iron whatever was been obtained were used in making tools and weapons. So the third one was it was having a fertile land. Magad was having a fertile land, and this fertile land was used for cultivation purpose, and due to the fertility of the land, cultivation agriculture system was being developed in a abundance. That means it showed that there was a growth in agriculture settlement. Why? There was a fertile land. The second plus point was that it was also having Ganga and its tributary. This Magadh, where it was situated nearby the Ganga and its tributary, was there, which provided it Magadh the water for irrigation purpose. So if fertility of the land is there, if cultivation is there, I need water. So it's having the Ganga and its tributary, which was providing water for its cultivation purpose as for irrigation purpose. Now out there in Magadh, both were used for communication and for trading purpose. So what was being used? Boat was used for communication purpose. If I have to communicate from one place to another, I used to go through the water route, and for trading purpose also. Why? Because Ganga and its tributary provide cheap and convenient means for communication. Ganga and its tributary was a cheap means for communication for the Magadh. So as with the neighboring cities, they can easily do the trading as much as they can do, and the communication system was good in Magadh. That was also the plus point for the Magadh to become more powerful, or to rise the power of Magadh. In Magadh, out here you can see elephant in forest. So in Magadh, elephant were found in forest region, as they were used as an important component for the army. Now this elephant, which was found in forest, they were used as an important component for the army, as they can go in ride in the elephant and doing the battlefield. The ambitious kind of we can say, during that time Magadh was the ambitious and the famous king, we can say, of the Magadh during that time period. King during that of Magadh time was Bimbisra, Ajasatru, Mahapadma, and the many king minister used to implement their policy, which had been made to rule and become more powerful. So whatever the minister they were making the policy, it helps the Magadh to rule in a peaceful and become more powerful. So this was the reason. That is, first one, we can say it is surrounded by mountain, which provided as a security from to be attacked from the enemy. Second, it was having a coal mine, and as the coal was been available in huge abundance, so they were utilizing that iron, they were utilizing it for making weapons and tools. Third one, they having the Ganga and its tributary was providing it water for, as the land was fertile, cultivation was done, and Ganga and its tributary was provided as a cheap means for communication, used for the trading purpose. And elephant was also been available, which was found in the forest, which was being used as important component for the army. So then these all are the factors that was responsible for the rise of Magadh. So next we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.